so much.
Because I interviewed Charlie Brotman last week.
I know, terrific stuff.
He sends his best wishes to you, but I would say he is upset at being ousted. And I'm just going to play for you what he told me last week. Here's Charlie Brotman.
Now I'm just assuming that Steve basically said, yeah, thank you for allowing me to be a volunteer. I'm glad everything went well. And Trump saying, well, is there anything I can do for you? And perhaps he may have said, well, I'm an announcer. I'd love to announce on your presidential inaugural parade.
And also the Trump team informed Mr. Brotman of his ouster via email. They didn't even call. So...
True.
I guess I'll ask you again.
Yes, so that we know exactly how it happened. Very simple. In having driven in the Trump motorcade 18 times, I had a lot of exposure to the senior staff, and they said they were going to streamline and modernize this presentation, and saw, as often happens, that I had the background, the pipes to do this. And a lot of people are saying that I bought my way into the position. Well, I've shown this before. This $35 little souvenir Trump card. Well, honestly, if I can get the president's announcer's position
Steve,
for $35,
we know that the Trump team and Mr. Trump admire loyalty. And,
they do.
You clearly
but again, I've never met him.
You clearly support Donald, but you clearly support his campaign. I mean, you said you've driven in his motorcade 18 times. So,
Carol,
isn't
can I ask you
that the Trump teams chose you because of your loyalty to Mr. Trump?
I will ask you this, Carol, because I know you've interviewed, he's been on CNN 3 times, Mr. Brotman has. No one's ever asked him who he voted for. This is an apolitical, nonpartisan position.
Oh, I did.
Did you ask him who he voted for, and how did he answer?
He didn't answer. He said he's represented presidents for the past 67 years. So
exactly.
I mean, it's
because
pretty
this
obvious
is nonpartisan.
That he's been right. It's nonpartisan. So I guess that's why I'm asking you this question.
I would say that if members of the senior staff saw some type of loyalty in someone who's been in this business 40 years and actually handled the PA duties at Nationals Park, I was the TV and radio voice of the team for the first 7 seasons. If they saw that as a skill set, then more power to them and the inaugural committee for making that choice. It wasn't something that I went after dramatically. It was being in the right place at the right time in front of the right people. And again, it really isn't a slight against Charlie, although I will agree with you that perhaps it could have been handled better. And on the phone with them, I said, you've got to come up with some kind of honor. You can't just tell Charlie that's it. That's not the way to do this. And they agreed. And that's how it came to fruition that he is named announcer chairman emeritus, and rightfully so.
And I don't want to diminish what you're doing, because it is quite an honor, and you're clearly excited about it, and Charlie Brotman is excited for you. So have there been any plans, concrete plans, on how to honor Brotman during this, and are you part of that?
Yes, as a matter of fact, and I have the scripts that we got over the weekend for the parade. There was a segment in the script originally that called for us to have Charlie stand up to acknowledge him, and have the crowd stand up as well for those wonderful 60 years of service. And that was part of what I had talked to the Presidential Inauguration Committee about. We've got to do something. You can't just let a man go after all this time. This isn't one of those factory workers, here's a gold watch and you're out the door deals. This is a man who is legendary. He's iconic. And with all the great love I have for him, I actually did in several phone calls say, we've got to come up with something. And at one point, maybe I had suggested, let's have Charlie introduce the president, and then I'll handle the rest of the parade, much like he did on opening day in 2005, where he did the opening lineup for the Nationals, and then the regular PA guy took over from there. So those variables certainly came into play, and suggestions were made on how to do this the right way.
Well, we'll all be listening. Steve Ray, congratulations, and thank you so much for being with me this morning.
Thank you, Carol. I appreciate the time.
You're welcome. Still to come in the newsroom. Forget touchdowns. All you might need is a really good kicker to get closer to the Super Bowl. Coy Wires next.